Hi, Lee Phillips. I want to talk to you about the operating agreement or the bylaws that you have. Operating agreements are for the LLCs. That's your handbook, how you're going to operate your company. Bylaws are basically the exact same thing, except for the corporation. That's the handbook for your corporation. And by the way, you need a good set of bylaws or a good operating agreement because, like I say, that's your handbook. When you get sued, I'm going to get a copy of your operating agreement, your bylaws, and I'm going to go through them and I'm going to read them. And it's going to tell me how you were supposed to operate your company. If you haven't operated your company the way your handbook says, then I go to the court and I say, hey, judge, look, this is a scam. It's not a real deal. They didn't operate the company properly. They didn't even follow their rule book. So you need to have the rule book. One thing that you need in the operating agreement is a bunch of provisions, a bunch of instructions as to how the company terminates or dissolves, who gets paid, what happens, who has to sign, all of that sort of stuff. What percentage of the shareholders or the members have to approve the dissolution. All of that sort of stuff needs to be addressed in your the operating agreement or the bylaws. The articles of organization are what you use to set it up with the state. Articles of incorporation are what you use to set up the corporation with the state. And then you have the operating agreement, the bylaws, which are the handbook. And they need to tell you how to dissolve or terminate your company. And you can get real technical with it, how to terminate it in bankruptcy and all sorts of things. The neat thing about it is the courts say if you're willing to write it down and it's not illegal or against public policy, they're going to follow your rules. That's a pretty good deal. Now, a lot of the operating agreements and stuff don't have this in it. Those aren't illegal. They aren't wrong. They just haven't addressed one of the main issues that I think you ought to be addressing in your operating agreement or your bylaws for your corporation. This is Lee Phillips, just with a thought on things that you should include in your operating agreements or bylaws.